hit like, and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel.
Peace, family. This is your brother, Marc Lamont Hill. Welcome to Night School. Every night here on the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel, we hold Night School, where I break down the most controversial topics, the most engaged debates, the most interesting discussions going on in the world today. And tonight, it's no different. I'm excited to be here with you all. Excited to talk to you all. We got a few stories that I want to get to, and there's some questions that you all may have. So if you have questions, drop them in. If you have thoughts, drop them in. If you have ideas, drop them in, and I got you. We take super chats, we take super thanks, super stickers, all that stuff. Can't wait to talk to y'all. Drop them in, 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 drop them in. It's so good to see your faces. Let's get started right away. So the questions are coming in too. Interesting. Maybe I will take a question before we get started. Would you do Jubilee? Would I do Jubilee? What is Jubilee? Break it down for me, y'all. Break it down for me. Is that like a streaming thing? I don't know. I really don't know. It's not me being funny. What is Jubilee? School me, school your brother. 20. Oh, 20. Now you just hit me. Yo, that's the joint that Mehdi Hassan did. Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, under the right circumstance, I would do that. I'm with that. By the way, last night, I know I had an Israeli story that I didn't cover. I don't want y'all to think that I was like scared to tell the story. I was exhausted last night, and by the time we got to the end of the time block, I just didn't have time to discuss any other story, and that was what's left. But we're going to cover it tonight. There's a couple stories tonight that I want to cover. So please know that I'm always here to cover all that's happening in the world. And yeah, it's devastating and it's sad. But we're going to keep covering it. Isaac Hempseed said, in a 20v1, 2020 versus, what group would you want? I don't even exactly know what that means, but I'm looking forward to finding out. Y'all got to break the Jubilee thing down to me. I only know what Mehdi did. I don't understand all the rules of engagement. Amanda Seals is going to be on Jubilee. That's what's up. I will, if my sister's on there, then I'm going to be watching it. Just talked to her today. Love to her. I can't wait to see her get busy. I cannot wait. I would love to hear your thoughts on Trump beef with Westmore and Baltimore. I don't know what Donald Trump is doing with Baltimore, with Westmore and Baltimore. I can only imagine it's something ridiculous because Donald Trump is a ridiculous person. Shout out to Westmore, my brother. I'll find out and get the skinny. Oh, I see. What kind of people would you like to go against? What kind of topic? Oh, I see. I'm open to topics. I'm open to it being on Israel-Palestine, like 20 Zionists. I'm open to it being 20 flat earthers. No, maybe not. I don't want to debate flat earth. I'm open to, I don't know. I guess it would just depend. It would depend. Some kind of internal black thing could be interesting. Like maybe like, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to think about it now that you asked that. I've never thought about debating 20 people, so I don't know exactly what I would want to do. But I'm open to possibilities. Somebody said, "How good is the Kevin Stage interview?" There is an interview with Kevin Stage coming up later in the week, maybe Thursday or Friday morning, on the Joe Budden Podcast Network. I think he's a great dude, and he's funny, and he's fun, and he's smart, and he's thoughtful. He's interesting, so I can't imagine it won't be a great conversation. Blackstone CEO killed in the NFL shooter situation. Let's get to some of these stories, and shout out to my good brother Ifeolu. Shout out to you for being here with us, and my brother Dash coming through, taking some of my payola money and sending it back to me. I am Dash Salams from JBTV crew, and just a really good brother. Salam alaikum, my brother. Thank you for the generous donation. Anybody else? who wants to support the channel, please, we'd be very grateful if you did so. Is it true Umar Johnson didn't do Joe Budden podcast because of you? I don't think so. I don't think that's true. I think Joe Budden podcast is a great place for Umar, and I think Umar's going to do it. That's why Umar's my brother. That's my brother. And he and I are good. And Umar is a star, and he's brilliant, and he's a great guest, and I think it's going to happen. I don't listen to or believe internet rumors. That stuff be whack and untrue. Let's see here. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. This is another question coming up now. Okay. Let's get to it. I'm sorry. I'm seeing more questions and comments coming in, but I do want to get to our actual planned topic. So we'll come back around at the end. But thank you for those questions and topics. Let's get to it. U.S. labor leader Chris Smalls. Some of you know him. He was reportedly kicked, choked, and brutalized by Israeli forces while trying to deliver food and medicine to Gaza. And the Trump administration has said absolutely nothing. Smalls, who you may know is an Amazon union organizer who made headlines back in 2022. He was on board the Handala, humanitarian ship bound for Gaza, when the Israeli military forces intercepted it in international waters. But when they took him to an Israeli prison, unlike the other 28 workers, he was reportedly singled out. He was surrounded by 6 officers, and he was assaulted by 7 more. You could see his neck and his back. You could see, just visible bruises. Now, his legal team says the reason why he was singled out, they don't seem to think that this was about his stance on labor. From what they're saying, this seems to be directly connected to the issue of race. They're saying he was singled out because he was the black guy on the trip, that he was the black labor leader, not just the labor leader, which, it ain't the most far-fetched thing I've ever heard about the Israeli military, but I don't want to make any assumptions about why they were brutal to him or why they assaulted him. There could be other reasons why. The point to me is that they did it. He's recovering right now, which is good. But there's some questions that have to be answered. And the Trump administration isn't saying anything. And obviously the Netanyahu administration isn't saying anything. There was no press briefing. There was no condemnation. There was no consular visit. His supporters, which makes sense, are still recovering. It's not clear whether he'll face charges, but what we know is he was brutalized. And unfortunately, this is part of the equation when you talk about Gaza, when you talk about the Israeli military, the Israeli occupation forces. The cruelty is the point. The brutality is the point. Bullet the Bunny is posting something that I want you all to look at, register.state.gov. Let the State Department know that they should let all the trucks in and let international press in. Yet 8, right? Like, letting the trucks in is obvious. Letting international press in is less intuitive and obvious to people, but just as important. I want to shout out Isaac Hemseed here for gifting 5 memberships to the channel. You don't know how much we need it. You don't know how much we appreciate it. Thank you, my brother. Also, Bullet, thank you for the note. And I saw your notes. I wasn't ignoring them. And no, don't worry. It's all love. I'm going to respond soon because I think you gave me some great ideas that I want to think about for next month and really moving forward. We'll talk about that. But while we're here, let's talk more about Gaza, because we haven't had a Gaza update in a while, and I want to be clear that that's not for any reason other than just life and the ebb and flow of the show. But we cover Israel-Palestine all the time, but just not an official Gaza update. We just cover the stories. But today I want to talk a little bit about that. The first thing I want to talk about is the Ministry of Health updates. The number of Palestinians killed in Gaza by Israeli forces has now reached 60,000. Officially 60,034 to be exact. It's been 662 days. 662 days of Israel's war on Gaza. And we know that at least 60,000 people have been killed in those 662 days. That's a number that boggles the mind. That's 90 people every single day. That's 1 out of 36 people in Gaza. I'm going to say that again. 1 out of every 36 people in Gaza has been killed. 147 people, just to add to this, have died due to starvation caused by Israel blocking the entry of aid. Just people starving because Israel won't allow food in. Of the 147 people, 88 of them were children or infants. These are unimaginable numbers. These are numbers that, if it were in Europe, if it were in the United States, these are numbers that would garner not just international attention and outrage, but we would become like, and we talk about Khmer Rouge, we talk about it would rank among the greatest atrocities in modern history. This is stunning and disturbing. And while the international community is certainly outraged, not enough. And we're now at a stage where almost the death, the starvation, the brutality, it's all becoming normal. You know, it's like every day we hear people in Gaza dying, so it almost doesn't mean anything. And then y'all's forever president, I should have said this a couple of days ago. It's one of the things I wanted to cover last night. Y'all's forever president gave his own response to Gaza. He posted this 2 days ago on Sunday afternoon. I'm talking about Barack Obama, for those of you who don't know. A couple of days ago, Barack Obama issued a statement on what was going on in Gaza. And here is what y'all's forever president said about it. He said, while a lasting resolution to the crisis in Gaza must involve a return of all hostages and a cessation of Israel's military operations, these articles underscore the immediate need for action to be taken to prevent the travesty of innocent people dying of preventable starvation. Now, this is such an Obama response. I don't know where to start with it. And some people praised him for his courage. It doesn't take courage on day 660 of a genocide to say, hey, there's a genocide. Let me start there. Day 660. And this is the most firm statement that Obama has made. That's number one. Number two, even in this statement, he doesn't use the word genocide. He doesn't use the word genocide. Now, am I surprised? No. Did I expect it? No. But I never expected it from him. Could the death toll, someone's asking, could the death toll be so high due to the size and population density of Gaza? Knock it off. The death toll is high because of targeted killings. The death toll is high because of the complete destruction of the infrastructure of Gaza. The death toll is high because hospitals have been destroyed. The death toll is high because electricity is cut off and incubators for babies is being cut off. Death toll is high because entry points for humanitarian aid are being obstructed. Death toll is high because targeted killings are happening everywhere in Gaza. Death toll is high because Benjamin Netanyahu vocalized everything that the Israeli government has been doing for decades in Gaza, which is what he called mowing the lawn. So no, it's not because of the high size and population density of Gaza. If Gaza were 5 times bigger, they would just do 5 times more killing. The cruelty is the point. The death is the point. Let's get back to Obama, but I want to make that clear. So Obama waits forever to say it. Then he doesn't say shit. Look at what he said. While a lasting resolution to the crisis in Gaza must involve a return of all hostages and a cessation of Israel's military operations, these articles so even here, he doesn't actually make a statement about Gaza. He makes a statement that other people are making a statement. So he never says there's a travesty in Gaza. He never says Israel's starving people. Right? What he says is these articles underscore the immediate need. He's saying these articles are saying this. He never even says he agrees with the articles. These articles underscore the immediate need for action to be taken to prevent the travesty of innocent people dying of preventable starvation. So it gives them plausible deniability. He can say, look, this is the position those articles took, as opposed to saying, this is my position. You think if Israel is bombed on October 7th or attacked on October 7th, 2023, and Obama says these articles underscore the travesty of Operation Iron Swords, or I'm sorry, of Hamas's invasion of or breaching of the border of the undeclared borders of Israel. Basically, if he did this on October 7th and just said these articles underscore the travesty of Israeli death, he would be pilloried by the public, by the press, by the political sphere. Everybody would be like, what the fuck is Obama doing? Come on. But when it comes to Palestinians, all of a sudden, he can do that. And even here, in the midst of a starvation, Obama does what? He does this even-handed thing. He establishes equivalencies, just like he did in Ferguson. Just like he did with Trayvon. Well, the police feel like this, and black people feel like that. He did it during his race, his famous speech on race from Philadelphia after the Jeremiah Wright controversy. Well, black people feel like this, and white people feel like that. He always does the thing where he says this side feels like this, and that side feels like that. Zakia says he ain't president, he ain't got to say shit. I disagree. Barack Obama is undoubtedly, unequivocally, indisputably the standard bearer for the Democratic Party. He is the leader. It's not Joe Biden. Joe Biden is not the voice of the Democratic Party. Joe Biden is not speaking on behalf of the party. He is not the power broker of the party. He couldn't even stay president because of Obama. He absolutely has a duty. Here's also why he has a duty. He spoke out on October 7th. He spoke out about Ukraine. He spoke out about we're going down the list. France. Remember Je suis Charlie? He spoke out at enough things that if you don't speak out about this thing, suddenly it looks selective. But also, again, you spoke out specifically on Israel and what's going on with Israel and Palestine. So you can't just speak out when bad things happen in Israel and ignore what happens to Palestinians. But what he says, while a lasting resolution to the crisis in Gaza, not genocide in Gaza, etc. must involve a return of all hostages and a cessation of Israel's military operations. The language is so fascinating. These articles underscore the immediate need for action to be taken to prevent the travesty. And again, to prevent the travesty of innocent people dying of preventable starvation. Again, sounds like he's saying this should happen to prevent this awful thing from happening. From this, I might think that there isn't preventable starvation happening. I might think that there are no innocent people dying right now, based on what this reads as. No, innocent people are dying right now. And the starvation is preventable right now. Come on, man. It's weak. It's weak. This is weak sauce, man. What's happening in Gaza is an atrocity. But what's happening in terms of the cowardly politicians, the milquetoast voices, doing nothing in the face of this, I think that may be the most morally atrocious thing outside the genocide itself. The genocide is the worst thing. I'm not going to compare a milquetoast politician to the fucking Israeli IOF, you know, but outside of the genocide itself, the violence itself, this ain't far behind, man. Mark Andrew Terry said, we invite Obama tonight. He's welcome. He has an open invitation. I'm eating a gummy bear, y'all. I don't know y'all think I'm ready. No, it's a regular gummy bear. Vegan, but regular gummy bear. No, Obama would never come on night school. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. You don't write a PR statement like this and then come on a platform that's going to tear this shit apart. You might as well not ask the question. Obama is never going to be the brother we expect. A general pushback, my brother Charles, he's exactly the brother I expect. He's just not the brother we would hope for. The language isn't to reach us, it's to reach folk who won't listen to us. No, sure. But when you reach those people who won't reach us, what do they actually hear? Do they don't hear genocide. They don't hear moral atrocity. They hear some bad things are happening. They hear some articles that make a case that there's some things we can do to stop something even more bad from happening. The tree that bends, the tree that refuses to bend breaks. I get that. But like my girl said in The Wire, if you bend too much, or as Lance Reddick said, if you bend too much, you're already broken. Somebody said, it's interesting. Only props I'll give to Obama regarding the issue is for when he abstained on a UN resolution condemning Israeli settlements. But it was probably just for that. But think about how much we've lowered the bar. Obama didn't vote to censure Israel. He didn't vote alongside 99% of the global community to say Israeli settlements are illegal. He abstained. That's not a profile in courage. He said, I refuse to vote. Which you may say is a distinction without a difference if it leads to the same outcome, but I disagree. I disagree. Can you imagine South African apartheid? And the global community is issuing a UN resolution condemning the South African racial state. And instead of saying, yes, I agree that apartheid is bad, you just say, yeah, I won't say anything while the rest of y'all say apartheid is bad. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Anyway, I got more stuff to talk to y'all about, so let me get to it. I apologize for the digressions. NYC Midtown shooter begs NFL to study his brain for CTE after mass killing at league headquarters. The man shot himself in the chest, not the head. He shot himself in the chest so that the NFL could study his brain. We've heard this before. Midtown Manhattan shooter, 27-year-old Shane Tamura, claimed the game of football gave him CTE. Then he killed 4 people and himself. That's the disturbing new detail of the story. Investigators found a 3-page suicide note near Tamura's body. In the note, he begged for his brain to be studied for chronic traumatic encephalopathy, also known as CTE. It's a degenerative brain disease linked to repeated head trauma, especially football. Now, Tamura claimed football destroyed his mind, and he pointed fingers directly at the NFL, saying their silence and their negligence pushed him over the edge. Tamura was a former high school football player from LA. He had mental health issues, and he actually traveled from Las Vegas to New York over the weekend. Then he walked into 345 Park Avenue. It's a skyscraper where you have the NFL headquarters, you have a Blackstone investment firm, other places. Anyway, he walked in with a rifle, and he just opened fire inside the building. He killed 4 people, including a pregnant Black NYPD officer who was working security. This is so disturbing. Another victim who he did not kill is in critical condition. Then he went took the elevator to the 33rd floor, and he turned the gun on himself. But he shot himself in the chest, and that was no accident. Authorities say he wanted his brain preserved to make a point. The medical examiner is preparing to study Tamura's brain. Now, his motive is being investigated. But the suicide note makes it clear that at the very least, he knows what he wants. Now, will the NFL listen? I don't know. But the NFL, at some point, whether this guy's connected to the NFL or not, whether this guy is right or not on his particular story, the attention being brought to the NFL conjures up the familiar question: what is the league going to do? Players are dying, and y'all can keep ducking it. You can keep ignoring it. You can keep trying to race norm the exam so that it looks like, Black people just have, different brain matter, and that's why you can do all that shit. But at the end of the day, this is a blood sport. This is a gladiator sport. It's archaic, it's gruesome, it's brutal, and people are dying from it. And y'all, NFL, are going to be accountable in lots of ways if you don't change the game, change the rules, change the approach. Something has got to give. That's all. Anyway, let's move to another story. This story makes me sad and has me frustrated. Let's talk about y'all's girl, Candace Owens. This is an interesting story too now. French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte have filed a bombshell 22-count defamation lawsuit. This is huge. The president of France, Emmanuel Macron, and his wife Brigitte have filed a bombshell 22-count defamation lawsuit in the United States aimed squarely at conservative podcaster Candace Owens. The case says that Owens and her repeated claims that Brigitte Macron is secretly a man, which by the way is a conspiracy theory, one that the Macrons call invasive, dehumanizing, and deeply unjust. There's so many things wrong with saying that someone is secretly a man. The misgendering, the violence of misgendering, the dishonesty of it. There's just a lot. Anyway, the suit accuses Candace Owens of launching a, quote, relentless year-long campaign of defamation for profit and refusing to stop even after multiple legal warnings and so-called incontrovertible evidence, quote unquote, proving Brigitte was born female. Owens revived the rumor in a March YouTube video titled, "Is France's First Lady a Man?" She later promoted a series called Becoming Brigitte to her nearly 4.5 million subscribers. She also sold merch mocking the claim. Now, the Macrons say they've had enough. The lawsuit seeks punitive damages for defamation, for false light, and defamation by implication. It says the couple has suffered, quote, substantial economic damages and loss of future business opportunities. Candace Owens is not backing down. On Instagram, she taunted the Macrons, posting, "I will be coming for this wig today. Stay tuned." She later called the lawsuit a desperate PR stunt in a YouTube response. This isn't the first time the Macrons have fought this claim. You see, back in 2022, Brigitte sued 2 French women who pushed a similar conspiracy. That case is still winding its way through France's legal system. But for now, the U.S. is likely to test the limits of international reputational harm in the age of social media and whether speech that starts with internet gossip can trigger real-world consequences, at least in terms of the law. I just don't know. Again, I don't know anything about Brigitte Macron. I don't know anything about anything related to France's first lady. But what I will say is the idea that Brigitte Macron was born a male and was somehow transformed into something else, that's a bold claim to say someone was assigned one gender or one sex at birth and became something else and is secretly hiding and all this stuff. It seems implausible to me. I haven't studied this. I can't say Candace's evidence is wrong or Candace's evidence is right, but I've seen with other things what can happen when research isn't well tied together. From what I can see and what other people have said, there's no doubt that Brigitte Macron is exactly who she says she is. Some people disagree. They all seem to be right-wing conspiracy theorists for the most part, but they have a different take on this. Lay your cards out. Bring the evidence to the table and let's see what happens. If it's true, show me. If it's a lie, be accountable. I can't imagine why the Macrons would be suing her if it were true. I think they would just remain silent. But I also don't know from a legal perspective what it means to demand damages from another country. I just don't know, like, can someone from another country sue you for defamation in a U.S. civil court? Do you have to give them money? I just don't know. But the question for me, why is this a story? Why is this an issue? Why does anybody care about the sexual designation or the gender identity of the First Lady of France? Why is this a target for Candace Owens? Why is she interested in telling this story? And that's a genuine question. I don't understand how we got here. Nobody's supposed to be here. Anyway, it's a wild story. But if they successfully take her on in court, I don't know. And if Candace is in fact not telling the truth, or is wrong, because maybe Candace believes this but is mistaken. If that's the case, what is the legal precedent for that? What is the social media precedent for that? In other words, like, what happens? Will people be inclined to do yet less yapping? You think what I'm saying? If they know that they can actually be sued online. You know, some people theorize, not me, but some people theorize that the way to stop all the internet trash talk is for people to get punched in the face in real life, right? Like, if you knew you could get punched in the face in real life, you wouldn't be talking so tough on the internet. I'm not saying that's what people should do, but that's an argument. Similarly, maybe people wouldn't spread conspiracy theories and lies about people if they knew they could be materially harmed through lawsuits, civil lawsuits. Again, I'm not saying that's what Candace is doing. I'm not saying that's what Macron is doing. I don't know the stories. I haven't investigated it, but I find it highly unlikely that this woman is anything but who she says she is. So that's unfortunate. Anyway, thank y'all for watching Night School. I appreciate y'all. It's a good night. Love talking to y'all. Let's do it again soon. Hit like, hit subscribe, join the channel, be a member of the channel, consume the content, and we'll keep thriving. We're happy to be here. We're happy to service we're providing. I love Night School. The thing I need, though, is support. That means hitting the like button, not as an occasional thing, but hit the like button when you like what you see. Hit the subscribe button. There's no reason to be watching Night School every night and not be a subscriber. Hit the subscribe button. And if you're so inclined, hit that join button and become a monthly paid subscriber to the channel. We need paid members to the channel. Please go to the desktop version of YouTube and hit that join button. Or if you can hit the link inside the description on any phone, do it. You know, now some of you all can't commit to once a month, but you can commit to right now. Go to Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. Go to Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. Say one more time. Go to Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle, and drop something in. It could be $1. We're grateful. It could be $1 million. We're grateful. Maybe a little more if it's $1 million, but we're grateful. But what we're asking for tonight is that everybody who's watching donate $5. Just $5 for the entire month. That $5, you have no idea how far it goes. If everybody watching right now were to give us $5 or donate $5, we'd be able to get all of the materials we need, all the editors we need, all the production team we need, be able to pay our bills without a problem. So please consider supporting us through Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle, or again, hitting the join button and becoming a monthly member. Either way, I appreciate you. I love y'all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.